Well, it's not every day that we do a double video feature, but that's what we're doing today. We've had enough news that we need to actually talk about, well, two big topics. So this morning we covered the situation with the Walt Disney earnings report, Robert Iger back at the helm. We talked about Nelson Peltz, which, by the way, almost at the very moment that video was sent out, Peltz pulled back from the proxy war. He is claiming absolute victory, saying that he received everything that he wanted. We don't know if that means that there have been some deals behind closed doors yet or not. Peltz was clearly wanting more information on China and Disney's connections with that country. Who knows? Maybe he got that also out of Robert Iger. It seems that there were many other concessions made. And you can actually find an article on that Park Place talking about all of the things that Iger conceded on in order to satiate Peltz and the potential shareholder revolt that could have occurred had he tried to not do the things that Triumph Partners were wanting. Then, even more news broke. And this news is referring to Hulu, which is, this is just massive, massive news yet again, and we need to cover it. So we're going to do so. Before we do, make sure that you click the like button, share, subscribe, and you can stick it to the algorithms when you click it. We're talking about the notification bell. We want to hear from you, so make sure to also leave a comment on your way out. This from Deadline, Jill Goldsmith and Ted Johnson. Disney CEO Bob Iger is open to selling Hulu. Who could believe it? Disney CEO Bob Iger said today that he's open to selling Hulu instead of forking over billions of dollars to buy out Comcast's stake in the streaming platform. Note that Disney owns the majority of Hulu. Comcast has a minority position. Asked on CNBC about his plans for Hulu as a 2024 deadline to buy it in or sell it off approaches, he said, "Everything is on the table right now, so I am not going to speculate whether we are a buyer or a seller of it. But I obviously have suggested that I'm concerned about undifferentiated general entertainment, particularly in the competitive landscape that we operated in, and we're going to look at it very objectively and expansively. So let me expand on that." Here's what he's saying. When he uses the terminology undifferentiated general entertainment, he's talking about the things which he discussed in the earnings report yesterday, the content that is not core franchise to Disney. Core franchise is going to be the Princess lineup. It's going to be the Fab Five Mickey Mouse stuff. It's going to be Star Wars. It's going to be Marvel. It's going to be Frozen, Moana, Zootopia, Toy Story, etc. And what he's hitting on are these new shows that are coming in to Hulu or that pre-exist him coming back that are on Hulu, which are a hodgepodge of stuff. Now, that includes the show Futurama that's been renewed or rebooted and being brought back to Hulu. It also includes the reboot of King of the Hill. All of that stuff seems superfluous to what Robert Iger wants to do. What's odd about all of this is that Iger particularly threw out positivity to The Simpsons yesterday, which is on Disney Plus, not Hulu. And The Simpsons is not what I would consider to be directly correlated with Disney, yet he, for some reason, is very, very pro core franchise. The other odd thing about it is that the core franchises have been the parts of Disney which have been lagging very far down and pulling the company down in terms of missing expectations. Think about that for a moment. Lightyear, starring one of the main characters of Toy Story, was a flop at the box office. When we think about different projects that Disney's been doing with their core franchises, Star Wars, Marvel's in decline. Star Wars can't get a movie out in the box office. So why Iger would be exceedingly negative about general content, i.e. content that isn't related to their franchises per se, their big ones, why he would be negative about those when those have been pulling their weight more, well, that's interesting. Pressed by host David Faber on whether he'd be interested if Comcast CEO Brian Roberts inquired about buying the Disney stake, Iger said, "We will be open-minded." Faber noted that the going assumption has been that Disney would buy the remaining stake in Hulu. And I think I'm suggesting that that is not necessarily the case, Iger said. It goes on to explain about how much Disney owns in the earnings call. Here's something to note about that. If Disney sells Hulu, then the stuff that Disney was talking about yesterday in regards to how they want to make their company be basically a three-pronged business, that is Disney content, Disney parks, and ESPN, that would mean that on the content side, Disney would essentially be down to linear networks. It would be down to box office and Disney Plus. Hulu has been outperforming Disney Plus in terms of growth. Hulu has been outperforming Disney Plus on a number of metrics. And so if they lose Hulu, then everything has to then go into Disney Plus for streaming. That consolidates it, but that doesn't solve the problem that Hulu is a better system, a better streaming system, a better streaming platform financially than Disney Plus has been if you look at losses versus profits. Now, let's take a look at this. This was sort of a preceding event, I think. This is back from September 23rd. This is by Todd Spangler out of Variety. We're hitting all the trades today, so everybody's happy, or at least most of the big ones. Hulu lost all 20 seasons of Keeping Up with the Kardashians and other NBCU shows, which are now on Peacock. Now, I think this is one reason that Iger may be viewing Hulu as being a less than property that he's willing to let go of now, because NBC has moved so much of Hulu's content over to their own streaming platform. Let's take a look at this. In addition, multiple seasons of Bravo's Real Housewives are no longer on Hulu. And it goes on to talk about all of those. Also leaving Hulu were Life of Kylie, the reality show, Top Chef. Top Chef is nothing to sneeze at. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, also gone. And all of those came with many, many seasons, many, many episodes. That's a big-time deal when you lose that many episodes when these shows go over. If you lose a one-season show, then, it's not fun, but losing 8 to 10 episodes is not quite the same ordeal as if you lose, let's say, 100 episodes, because all of that is content that people can, let's say when they watch the first episode, it goes to the second, and then they go to sleep and it keeps streaming, the ads keep playing, and, well, you can see how that's a much bigger deal to lose that much content. Now, the problem for Disney is that should they want to separate from Hulu, they're in a bit of a pickle. The pickle is that they have already committed some of their Disney-owned, or at least partially Disney-owned shows, franchises, etc., general content, right? This isn't the Toy Story stuff. This isn't this isn't Mickey Mouse. So this is the stuff that Iger seems to have distaste for, but they've already put these over into Hulu. They're already committed to this. And so you could see a situation if they sell Hulu where they're stuck running King of the Hill, which Disney has stake in. They're running it on Hulu, which could be owned by a competitor with Disney stuff. At the same time, that might be viewed positively by those who wanted Disney to start finding new ways to generate income when it comes to streaming, rather than just putting stuff on their own platform, Disney Plus, which makes them no money. The odd thing, though, is that because some of these new shows are being instituted, such as Futurama and King of the Hill, prior to a potential sale of Hulu, we don't know what would happen with the contracts that are already pre-existing. So do those contracts have any way for Disney to recoup money, or is Disney just on the hook for these shows if they are then gifted to whoever buys Hulu? King of the Hill Revival officially a go at Hulu. This is by Leslie Goldberg at The Hollywood Reporter. We've talked about this quite a bit because this was one of those things that I called. This was one of those rumors that I put out there 3 weeks early, and then it was confirmed. Did that on Midnight's Edge. So all kinds of stuff going on with Disney and with Hulu. This is an effort by Disney to lower not only their debt, but also lower their expenses when it comes to streaming, consolidate what they think is successful versus not successful. The issue for me is I'm not sure that Disney has the goods when it comes to their own core stuff. I'm not sure that Lightyear stands up very well against Futurama or King of the Hill if you're just looking at the streaming participation that's likely to come out. I think that King of the Hill will blow away Lightyear's numbers over a 2-year period. I think that Futurama will blow away Strange World over a 2-year period, probably far less than that. But Iger is completely in sync now with the idea of going all in on those core franchises. And the cost of that very likely will be Hulu. Hulu will be the casualty, it seems. We'll find out. Is Iger just playing politics with Comcast? Is he playing a little gamesmanship here? Will Disney end up with it? It was terse. The way he's responding is It leaves doubt. So we will find out. And when we do, stick around here. We'll be covering it here on wdwpro. We'll be covering it over on Valiant Renegade. Our other friends like Midnight's Edge, they'll be covering it. And if I get early word, you know it'll be here. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.